Good morning. My name is Margaret Whelan, and my pronouns are she, her. This morning I have the privilege to preach about Luke 17, verses 5 to 10. And let me tell you, these verses are fabulous. They're pure gold. I have been coming to Luck all year and taking opportunities to learn what I can about my faith that has been compared to a mustard seed. Please pray with me. Dear God, please give us the mind space to listen to your words and give those words power in our daily lives. Let your Spirit be with us. Amen. Well, there are two parts to this reading. Firstly, the verses on faith, and secondly, the verses on how to treat your slave. I think the verses relate to each other and make a whole piece. So let's look at how and why this may be. The word slave pulled me up sharp when I read it. We have laws against slavery, and although slavery still exists, it is rightly seen as abhorrent. But when reading other versions of the Bible, the word is replaced by the word servant. Now, you may still think, well, I don't have servants. I'm not that rich. I cook, I launder, I clean. But in a way, we do have servants. Many of us stop off on the way to work to grab a coffee or get takeaway on the way home for dinner. Most people don't make their own clothes and pretty certainly not their own shoes. Are the people who make these clothes, shoes, food and coffee our servants? And what about us? Do we also serve? Maybe we work and serve through our paid employment. Is this service? We might volunteer with organisations such as the Red Cross or Lifeline. Lots of people here at Luck help out in a myriad of ways. That certainly is service. And family life involves looking after children, looking after our elderly, and of course, we all need help when we are ill. We are part of a web of human service. So how does this fit with we have done all that we ought to have done in verse 10? Well, I think we could say that is how we operate. We do all that we ought to have done. Our barista doesn't say, yep, got your order, but just wait a minute while I have my coffee. And so, in our lives, in our work, we do our work. We might grumble, but we get on. So far, so ordinary. Here's the thing though. In the verses about faith and mustard seeds, it gives us a bright torch beam to shine on servants and our service. Apparently, this verse, if you had faith the size of a mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the ocean, and it would obey you. It is to be read, though, if you had faith the size of a mustard seed, and you do. Jesus is stating his belief in our faith, his faith in our faith. Now, although the apostles asked for their faith to be increased, faith is not a commodity. More faith isn't better and less isn't worse. We don't need more. Faith, and here I'm quoting the dictionary, faith is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. So to ask to increase our faith is not a sensible request. Think about when you receive faith. When I've spoken to others, they can remember that time, but explaining how that change happened is difficult to convey. My own experience is pretty close to impossible to explain. I can describe where I was, what events triggered my actions. I was simply lying on my bed at home, but I can't describe the profound change that it made in me. it's an experience for many of us that is beyond explanation. That faith is not conveyable, and that is why it's not a more or less thing. You've got it. So, our faith is precious, it's beyond words, but it's certainly not beyond actions. Faith may seem to lie dormant, only to be ignited by life events. We see things that need doing, and it's our faith that pulls us into action. Or maybe it's the other way around, a realisation that the faith of earlier years is still alive, and then a desire can arise to find out more, to do more. Jesus, it has been said before, has a radical point of view. Our faith, that mustard seed, that light within, can allow a far-reaching change in our attitudes to servants and service. Jesus asks us to love one another. Could we extend this love, this care to the servants? Could we look out for and care for all people as we and they serve? Can we extend compassion, understanding, and simple kindness? We care for ourselves, each other, and the extended community. Our church is dedicated to social justice. Treating others as slaves or as unimportant, mere servants will never do. That's not how we are called to respond. And in truth, it's not how we behave. The faith, like a star within that keeps us aware of the other, what can faith do? Faith can open our eyes to injustice. With our faith, we see the homeless, the poor. With our faith, we see the asylum seeker whose rights are being trampled. With our faith, we see the Aboriginal people and their demands for fairness in our country. With our faith, we seek justice for the members of the LGBTQI+ community, and we stand with them. With our faith, we see, and seeing is respecting. So, we have to count ourselves in. We need to eat, to drink, and to rest, to have recreation so as to recreate ourselves. This must be done if we are to make good our faith, take care of ourselves, and check that others are doing the same. It's non-negotiable. In verse 8 of Luke chapter 17, it says, "Later, you may eat and drink." So yes, we know we can have faith that we are cared for. Our faith can reassure us of that. Thank you.